The Dover Demon.
In April 2020.
Cryptid history, April.
Back in April 1977.
It was only seen for 48 hours.
Hello, I'm Trucker Joe. Welcome back to Trucker Joe's Hideout. Today we're going to be looking at a strange cryptid I ain't never heard of up until I started doing this research. Before we get started, if you ain't already done so, hit that follow button. It helps the channel grow. Let's get into it.
What about the Dover Demon? You ever hear of that? This video is for entertainment purposes only. So this entity appeared multiple witnesses in a certain area. The question is why? Why then, and why in this one area? Well, there's some theories I have, and I'm not saying I'm an expert in demonology, but I will tell you this. People who are engaged in occult activity can open up gateways, they can open up portals through ritualistic ceremonies. One ceremony was done at the Malibu Vineyard years ago. There was a circle with a pentagram, a slaughtered dove had been decapitated. The candles were still burning when I arrived there around 8 o'clock in the morning to clean up the mess. I was walking towards the front doors of a church, and there was this ritual. A couple of months later, that church split up. Look, the occult world is real. Demonology is real. There are people in your town, people that you know, that are engaging in seances and other things like this, which call the demonic and open up gateways and portals. And then creatures like the Dover Demon manifest. I am L.A. Marzulli.
You know, he's right. You know, when you start opening up portals and doing demonic stuff and everything, hell, you ain't no telling what you might have come through. You know, that's the reason why I always said, and I'll stick by that till the day I die. Don't mess with things that you don't have no idea what you're messing with, because, you know, you're going to be trouble. There ain't no use in taking a chance.
Welcome to Dark Docent's Cryptid Advent Calendar. Your cryptid for December 19th, the Dover Demon. The Dover Demon was a 3.5-foot tall humanoid cryptid seen in Dover, Massachusetts on the night of April 21st, 1977. The creature was described as about 3.5 feet tall, a large head and tiny body, with rosy tan-like skin and eyes that glow green or orange. The creature kind of looked like a take on a gray alien, but a little more feral. This creature was kind of seen standing on all fours, creeping on different stones, hiding behind trees, not wearing any clothes. But the weirdest thing about this cryptid is that he was only seen on this night and never again. 3 separate kids within a 2 to 3 hour span all reported seeing this creature, and all the sightings were in very close proximity with each other. And what makes this case a little more interesting is none of these kids actually knew each other. The next day when they began drawing what they saw, it was alarming how similar the sketches were. Each one of these drawings was drawn by one of the witnesses that night, all in separate rooms, all without talking to one another, and all almost exactly the same. And even though nothing really came from this case other than 3 kids saw something strange, this cryptid has lasted the test of time and has intrigued us for almost 50 years. And still we are no closer to an answer of what it could be. Lots say it could just be an alien creature. There are rumors of UFO reports that night. Some say it's a literal demon. I think I'm just taking the name a little too seriously with that one. Skeptics say a baby moose, but I don't really see that, so if anyone has an argument why that could be a baby moose, I would love to hear it. And then a small few say undiscovered cryptid. Now a lot of people deny this theory, but I like to give it a chance, because I have a theory of my own. In the last few years, people have reported pale humanoids all around North America. These have come to be called pale crawlers. But did you know pale crawler reports go back to as early as the 1940s? And they also match the description of ancient Native American folklore, a beast that we know today as the Wendigo. I'm of the belief that if this wasn't an alien, I think it's possible that it could have been a juvenile pale crawler. But of course it's just a theory and we will never truly know what this thing was. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Give me a follow if you want.
It is kind of strange that 3 different people that didn't know each other drew a similar creature at the same time. So that kind of gives it a little bit of a little more mystery, I guess you might want to say. Tell me what y'all think about that in the comments. And it sure don't look like, from what I'm seeing in the images, a baby moose. I mean, you'll find out that they mentioned that several times in these videos that I've seen, and that just it don't look nothing like a baby moose.
A cryptid for every state.
Today is Massachusetts. Do you know about the Dover Demon? The Dover Demon was first sighted on April 21st in 1977 by a boy named Bill Bartlett. He claimed to see the creature atop a stone wall late one night while driving. Another boy saw it a little bit later that night, and a girl reported seeing it the next night. It's said to have a watermelon-shaped head, be anywhere from 3 to 4 feet tall, with gray skin, large green or large orange eyes, thin fingers, thin legs, and arms. And you know what's funny about this is it reminds me of the Little Green Men of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I don't think there's been any more sightings since then, but it's become a really popular tale in Dover, Massachusetts.
You know, folks, the longer we get into these videos, the more I'm starting to think it might have been an alien, because the way people describe this thing, 3 to 4 feet tall, it kind of reminds me of the Little Green Men. What do you all think? Could it be an alien? Could it be a demon? Could it be a mix of both? I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Are you into cryptozoology? If you believe in Bigfoot, the Chupacabra, the Dover Demon, or the Jersey Devil, I've got breaking news for you. There's new information on the Dover Demon, first seen in the small town of Dover, Massachusetts. It appears the creature has moved out of state. Recent sightings show that the demon has moved residence, as multiple reports are coming out of Oregon of a creature with a similar appearance. Witnesses in the town of Bend, Oregon have called for the authorities to investigate the uptick in sightings. Police are cautioning residents to stay indoors after dark. And for this reason and your safety, you must bend over.
How about my Oregon folks out there? Have y'all heard this over in Bend area? I've been through Bend a whole lot of my career. But so sound off over there. Have you heard about this little creature over there around your area? Let me know in the comments.
Right then, let's delve into the fantastically unsettling tale of the Dover Demon, a peculiar case that, because of course it does, has a rather bleak modern update. My name is Jeeves, and I spend my time sifting through the paranormal dross looking for the good stuff. And the Dover Demon, it's stubbornly good stuff. Our story kicks off on July 25th, 1977. 17-year-old William Bartlett was driving with his mates down Farm Street in Dover, New Hampshire, because driving aimlessly down dark roads is peak teenage entertainment. As they crested a rise, their headlights illuminated something that would, scar them for life. It wasn't like anything I'd ever seen, William told me, which is a spectacular understatement. Small, maybe 4 feet tall. Its head enormous, like a misshapen melon atop a thin neck, and those eyes as glowing orange. Sounds delightful. He said it had a spindly body, and it was crouched by a stone wall before it, and I quote, scuttled off. The lads naturally were terrified, convinced they'd found an alien. A logical leap, I suppose. Fast forward 40 years to 2017. Same woods, new cast. A group of 8 enthusiastic young campers, which is always a brilliant start to a horror story. This wasn't some survivalist crew. Their biggest challenge was getting the perfect small. Their aim? A temporary escape from adulting. Good luck with that. The first 3 nights were idyllic, apart from the odd rustlings, faint high-pitched whistles, and the constant feeling of being watched. Standard camping trip stuff. They chalked it up to the spooky atmosphere and too much whiskey, because ignoring massive red flags is what you do on holiday. But the 4th night, that's when things went from a bit weird to a complete and utter nightmare. Liam was the first to vanish. He went for a wee and just didn't come back. The search party, armed with phone torches, found nothing but twig snaps and a chilling cooing sound. Top-tier rescue effort, that. Then Sarah was nabbed from her tent. 1 minute she's there. The next a tearing sound, a shriek, and a small gangly figure with smoldering embers for eyes slips out. One by one the campers were picked off. It was a real bloodbath. Only one survived, a 22-year-old named Emily, who apparently had the good sense to be pragmatic.
Well, that's a plot twist. A report from 2017 about some teenager or people in the woods went missing. Only one survived. Let me know, Massachusetts people. Let me know in the comments. Have you heard about this report from 2017?
2.5 hours later, about 1.5 miles east of where Bill Bartlett had his encounter, 15-year-old John Baxter was walking home from his girlfriend's house along Miller Hill Road. As he turned onto Farm Street, he noticed what appeared to be another person walking toward him in the distance. Since the road was dimly lit, and assuming the person ahead of him might be someone he knew from around town, John called out to it, but did not receive a response. Immediately, no. Running in the other direction. I'm gone.
100%.
There's a figure. I don't care if it's human.
He's not being friendly.
not responding. It's like after midnight.
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry.
You are a murderer. This is the height of the serial killer time. I'm out. But at the same time, you're 17 and you're like, I'm fucking invincible.
I can do whatever I want.
I can do whatever I want. I'm never gonna die.
I'd have to agree with that guy. I'm telling you right now, 1 a.m., I don't care what it is. I am avoiding it like the plague. Because, I like meat. I don't want nothing to happen to me. And if you get that fight or flight reflex going, I try to take the flight. But if I have to, I'll fight. But tell me what y'all would do in a situation like that at 1 a.m. in the morning, run across a dark figure.
The Dover Demon is a 4-foot-tall, spindly, hairless, humanoid creature reportedly sighted over 2 nights in 1977. Eyewitnesses vary on the eye colour, with some describing them as glowing orange, whilst others insist that they were green. One of the witnesses described the head as being the size of the rest of the body, often moving on all fours, with no apparent mouth, nose or ears. The first person to see the creature was a 17-year-old boy called Bill Bartlett, who sketched the creature. He swore on a stack of Bibles that no matter how abstract the picture was, the creature was real and actually existed. Cryptic investigator Lauren Coleman was the first one on the scene, creating the nickname Dover Demon, and the sightings were later studied by the Mutual UFO Network, or MUFON for short. Skeptics suggest the creature was a baby moose, a fox, a young colt, a sick baby bear, a walking octopus, anything other than an alien. Imagine what the neighbours will think. The most interesting thing is in 1977 the police considered the sighting as credible. Not a single person involved didn't believe it happened. Strange, yes. Alien or demon. Its sightings are still rumoured, so if it ages slower than we do as a species, does it have a kind of magic?
I've said it once, I'll say it again. I think all these entities that you see, that you hear about, these cryptids and everything, is got a demonic presence to them. That's just my personal opinion on it, and that's just my opinion and my opinion only. Everybody might believe something different. But I just don't know. It just, you hear about these things all over. And the people that see them swear by that, that they're real. You ain't gonna convince them otherwise. So that's just my personal opinion on the situation. Let me know what y'all think.
What if one of the strangest creatures ever reported in America wasn't Bigfoot or a ghost, but something no one has ever been able to explain? On the night of April 21st, 1977, 17-year-old Bill Bartlett was driving down a quiet road in Dover, Massachusetts, when something caught his headlights. Perched atop a crumbling stone wall was a creature unlike anything he had ever seen. It had a massive watermelon-shaped head, glowing orange eyes, long, spindly arms and legs, and skin that looked almost hairless, pale, and rough like sandpaper. For just a few seconds, the creature stared directly at him, and then it disappeared into the darkness. Bill rushed home and sketched exactly what he had seen, and at first, people assumed it was just another teenage prank. But the story didn't end there. The very next night, another teenager named Don Baxter was walking home alone when he noticed a strange figure approaching him in the dark. Thinking it was another person, he called out. There was no response. Instead, the figure moved toward him with an awkward, almost unnatural gait, before suddenly vanishing into a nearby ravine. John later described the creature almost exactly the same way Bill had. And then only hours later, a third witness, Abby Brackham, and a friend encountered a similar creature clinging to a tree. 3 separate sightings, 3 different witnesses, 2 nights, and remarkably similar descriptions. The strange being quickly became known as the Dover Demon. And unlike many cryptid legends, there have been no consistent sightings before or since those 2 nights in 1977. So what exactly did these teenagers see? Some believe it was an undiscovered animal, while others think it may have been an extraterrestrial visitor or even an interdimensional being. Skeptics suggest exhaustion, darkness, and imagination may have filled in the blanks. But one fact keeps this mystery alive. The witnesses were interviewed separately, and their stories matched in surprising detail. Nearly 50 years later, no explanation has ever fully satisfied anyone. So if you ever find yourself driving the back roads of Dover after sunset, you might just glance a little longer at those old stone walls. Because sometimes the strangest legends only appear once. Until next time, lore keepers, stay curious. Because every town has a story, and some are still being whispered.
You know, she brings up a good point. You know, they've only been seen just, what was it, 2 nights? It's kind of strange. I mean, that's just, how should I put it? Kind of unbelievable that it's never been seen again. I mean, and it all the way back in, was it 1977? And all these years later, it ain't ever appeared again. Of course, that one boy said that, it'd been reported over in Oregon. So I don't know. Tell me what y'all think about this. Did you find it strange it was all the way back in 1977 for 2 nights and it never been seen again?
It was only seen for 48 hours. 3 separate witnesses in Dover, Massachusetts on 2 consecutive nights in April 1977. And then it was gone. But what those people described has never been explained and never been forgotten. The first witness was 17 years old, driving with friends when his headlights caught something on top of a stone wall. Large, glowing orange eyes, a huge head on a tiny body, long thin fingers wrapped around the stones, skin the color of wet sand, no nose, no ears, no mouth that he could see. It turned and looked directly at him. The second witness saw it on a dirt road later that night. Same description, same eyes. The third saw it the following evening, clinging to the side of a building. 48 hours, 3 witnesses who did not know each other. Identical descriptions. Then, nothing. It has never been seen again. Whatever passed through Dover, Massachusetts in April 1977, it was only visiting.
According to the drawing, it's kind of a funny looking little creature, ain't it? It's kind of unusual, compared to all the other cryptids that we've heard about in our lifetime. And I still find it strange it only happened 2 nights. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody that's made an appearance somewhere else again. I just find it hard to believe because all the other cryptids we hear about, and we'll follow more, in this series that I'm doing. Uh, they've been spotted multiple times. So that's just my personal opinion on it. Let me know what y'all think about it.
Back in April 1977, a small town in Massachusetts experienced 3 of the same monster sightings in 26 hours. The mystery is still unsolved. Everyone, today is Monster Monday, where we talk about monsters on Monday, and tonight we are diving into a very strange, alien-like cryptid for which there's really no comparison. We're talking about the Dover Demon. Our story starts on April 21st, 1977, where 17-year-old William, or Bill Bartlett, is going out for a drive with his friends. It's spring break, they're gonna go be teenagers, doing teenagery things, when all of a sudden, as Bill's driving down the road, something catches his eye. He sees a strange creature run along the stone wall that's bordering the road. He tries to turn the car around to shine his headlights on it, but it's too late. The creature's gone. In another part of town, 15-year-old John Baxter is walking home from his girlfriend's house. He sees somebody on the road that he didn't recognize. This person starts approaching him, and John is trying to get a better look, but it's really dark out, and all that he can make out is that it's someone kind of short. So initially he thinks it must be some neighborhood kid, but as soon as he got a little closer, it started running the opposite direction. John chases it across a shallow wooded gully where he sees that it's not a person at all, but instead a strange creature. The very next night, a girl named Abigail claimed to see a similar creature to the other ones reported when she was driving home with her boyfriend. But here's the weird thing about all of these sightings. None of these people actually spoke to each other, and their encounters didn't become public until a month afterwards. This leads us to wonder, what did they see?
That right there's some white man stuff right there. I'm white, but I ain't that white. I damn sure if it's running the opposite direction when I started approaching it, I damn sure ain't gonna chase it down. I mean, like I said, I'm white, but I ain't that white.
Cryptid history, April 22nd. On this day in 1977, the Dover Demon reappeared. 15-year-old Abby Brabham and her friend were driving along Springdale Avenue in Dover, Massachusetts around midnight when she saw a small, hairless creature with a large head and glowing green eyes crouched on all fours by the road. The shape matched what Bill Bartlett had described the night before, but Brabham said the eyes were green, not orange. A slight variation like that suggests two independent people looking at the same thing under different lighting conditions. The Dover Demon sightings lasted exactly 25 hours and then stopped completely. No tracks, no droppings, no physical evidence of any kind. Just 3 credible young witnesses who drew and described the same creature without knowing about each other's stories. And it never happened in Dover again. It showed up, was seen by multiple people in a tight burst, and vanished. 48 years later, and there is still no answer. So what do you make of this mysterious creature of the night? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
As she said, that's, like I said, I've said it before, over 40 years later, and you still ain't had nothing. I mean, no other sightings. And that girl described it as green eyes instead of orange, so, independent witnesses always describe things differently.
Oh my goodness. It's right there, look at those eyes. He's climbing the wall.
Oh, bacon bits, you underestimate us. Come on. Dover Demon. Alive and in person. There he is.
I swear that thing looks like an alien, don't it? You ever a description you ever heard of the little gray men, look just like it. I mean, so are they mistaken? Was it a demon or was it an alien? I'm kind of leaning more towards it was an alien sighting. Tell me what y'all think in the comments about this situation.
Life is all fun and games till you get catfished by a cryptid. I drove 20 hours to Dover, Massachusetts one time to hunt the Dover Demon, and come to find out, that bastard's just a crippled gray alien. I thought he was going to be like some scaly monstrosity from the depths of hell that I could place on my mantle right next to my grandpappy's red fox. Come to find out, it's just some crippled little bald fucker. I mean, yeah, I could have shot it, but it would have been like making fun of a mentally handicapped child. You can do it, but why the fuck would you?
Dude brings up a good point. Why would you? I mean, that's what I think it is, alien. I'm leaning more and more towards it every clip that I watch. I mean, but everybody's got their own opinions, and this is just mine.
I've been asked by several people if there are other creatures outside of Appalachia that resemble the Appalachian skinwalker or rake or crawler, whatever you want to call it, and there absolutely are. When I was a kid, our library had a book about unsolved mysteries, and in that book was this image, simple yet terrifying to a child. It's called the Dover Demon, and in the spring of 1977 in Dover, Massachusetts, 4 separate people encountered this creature over a 25-hour period. Each of them drew and described what they saw, and the accounts were eerily similar. A creature around 4 foot tall with a melon-shaped head, no mouth, large glowing eyes, and a body like an emaciated monkey. These sightings occurred over a straight line approximately 2 miles long. Now, while this creature might not be too intimidating in size, one doesn't need to be intimidating when you're terrifying.
Well, there you have it, folks. The Dover Demon. Let me know what y'all think about this situation up there. I mean, been all these years and only 4 people's ever seen it. If you like this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments what other cryptid, little known cryptid you want me to cover, and I'll cover it if I can find any information on it. And thanks for watching. And if you ain't already done so, make sure you give me a like and follow and share. And I'm Trucker Joe. We'll catch you on the next one.